We wanted a green home with rainwater tanks, solar power, solar hot water. It's really strange. The Bendigo is the only bank which will give you a loan, which is an incentive to help the environment. The Bendigo actually reduces the interest rate for environmentally friendly houses or products. So, if you want to save money and the environment, there's only one bank you need to know. You need to know the Bendigo.
We're going to talk to people who have been honoured by the Australians. Yes, all of us as OAMs, the Order of Australian Medal, which was awarded on Australia Day. So stay with us as we join four very special people in our great town of Geelong as we meet our first OAM for 288. And it's a very warm welcome to Mr. Richard James Embelton. How are you, Richard?
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, and first of all, congratulations on your award. It's something I know that personally you're very humbled about.
Yes, I'm very humbled about it. I was a bit surprised about getting the award, and I just really appreciate the people who nominated me for the award.
Richard, you've your career per se, particularly in the voluntary arena, has really covered a lot of wonderful different elements of life, and in some ways very, very rewarding. And let's first of all start off with the area we're speaking to you at the desk here of the Geelong Welfare Centre.
That's right.
For war veterans.
That's right. And
something that you are very, very deeply involved with.
Yes, I am. I really very humble about that as well, because it's really important that they have a representative in the advocacy capacity in regarding appealing for their veterans and their wants and needs. I've got a passion for that type of work. I really enjoy that type of policy, and I also enjoy what I'm doing at the moment is the younger veterans. I think they're the ones from Afghanistan and Iraq that they're very important, that we need to make sure that they looked after in the right way. And I'm dealing with a person named Paul Copeland in that area, who's the Peacekeeper President, who's absolutely fantastic that we're working really hard on that area.
Richard, your own, just quickly for our viewers, information, your own service background?
I went in the Army in '69 and I did 2 years, and I went over to Vietnam, and that's in the past, but I just think it's really important that we look at our ex-service personnel, irrespective if it's peacekeeping or war, we should respect them as what they are. And I think one of the things I learnt in my national service background is that one of the things is you've got to help each other. That's what it's all about, mateship.
Now, the world of sport and activity of the body is yet another wonderful involvement you've had over the years. Ranges from yoga to the great world of Australian rules football.
Yeah, that's right. I come from Sydney. I never really followed Aussie rules, is what I used to call it, but I was very fortunate. Paul Armstrong, who's now the Richmond manager, he got me into it back in 1991, and my first coach was Terry Bright and Graham Laney. I knew nothing about him. I didn't even know that Terry Bright played for Geelong. And to the Geelong supporters, I apologise for that, because my lovely wife is a Geelong supporter. And then from there I blossomed into the Vic Country, which I was head trainer. I've been head trainer of both those two places. I'm still doing Vic Country as a head trainer, and I really appreciate the stuff I've learnt from the people I've worked with. I've had absolutely terrific coaches throughout. One of the things I'm really fantastic about, if you look around the Geelong region, I mean, you've got 3 regions here. You see there's coaches that come through the Geelong Falcons, and we've just got a terrific idea, terrific setup, because everyone knows Michael Turner. I didn't know who he was from a bar or so, but Michael Turner's really passionate about the players. He does an excellent job. We've got Gary Hocking. I reckon he's fantastic on his communication. And you've got Alan Thompson, who's the Hampton League guy down there. So we're very fortunate that we've got people, and we've got underlying people. I don't want to talk about all of them, but because as I said to you before I got on the thing, when I first started in this game, we had a staff of 12, and fair dinkum, I have no idea how many people work in this Geelong Falcons anymore. I've got no idea.
Richard, how do you find the both elements of your activity with your professional background, being able to combine them together and make them work effectively, both with the war veterans and the very open-minded young people who are particularly the growing men who are looking towards AFL careers?
I think you got one of the things I admire if I'm doing this sort of work. There's a bit of negativity towards some of the poor veterans you're dealing with. But positive when I go into the Geelong Falcons or the Vic Country is that the boys want to excel to their best excel to their expectation. And you watch these kids who want to play AFL footy or just local league here. It just gives you a positive attitude, and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel young. I mean, I'm nearly 59. But I sometimes go down and I think I'm 18, but I'm not. And you can't put the clock back. But I just really enjoy it. I just enjoy what I do. My background now is welfare. I mean, I think I told you before, I know nothing about football, have no idea of it. I think that's why I get on really well with the coaches, because I wouldn't be able to coach a kid if I tried. In regards, I went up to Ballarat the other day because our Vic Country trains a bit more now. And we had a time management. Now, the boys sat down there. Now, I can tell you back in '92, I would be lucky to have got one player who even would have just had any idea of it. And I was just saying that they've got all mobile phones, and they're like blotting paper. They just sponge it all in, and they really took the time management on, how they have to. There was 3 elements of the time management that came out that I thought was really important: family, education, and football. And if you look at that in your own life, family, education, and football, or educational, vocational, whatever you want to bring up, I think that's the three most important components of your life. If your family's your most important thing, and that's what the boys are getting out of things. They realise how important their families are. Actually, they are, because I was down there the other day. I watched Gary Hocking last year and his coaching staff. They do a lot of stuff on the laptop, and the kids sit down there and they work through there. Now, I'll give you an example. A kid from Hampton League, I was talking to a boy the other day on time management. Now, this boy lives at Warrnambool. Now, on a Thursday, he has to get in the bus at 2:30, so that means from 2:30, he has to get the last 2 periods of his education and get all the homework that he has to do. On Friday, he has to try and find out where to put that homework. So on a Friday night, he'll do it on a Friday night, or if he's playing a game on Saturday, he'll prepare his game on the Saturday, and he'll do all his work on Sunday, and then he does it again on the Monday. Now, this boy is about 80+%. In his own right. He's also going to be. He could be a top 20 in our draft thing. So that's what these kids do. These elite players, you don't have to tell them. They just do it and they sponge everything up. And it's just good to be there, in my opinion.
A man who has contributed an enormous amount to the community, and the community has honoured him in the Australia Day Awards, Mr. Richard James Embelton, now OAM, for his service to welfare of veterans and their families, also particularly through the Geelong Veterans Welfare Centre and the local football scene, and in particular around Vic Country and the Geelong Falcons. Richard, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. OAM, as we say, advanced Australia fair, and with men like Richard Embelton around, we always will. We'll take a break and be back with more on Geelong Weekly News on Wednesday.
We don't like to take risks when it comes to security.
And internet banking is no different.
With the Bendigo, on top of our usual login details, we've got a security token that generates a new PIN every time you log in.
So even if someone does get our login details, they still can't access our accounts.
So if you'd like extra security when you're e-banking, there's only one bank you need to know. You need to know the Bendigo.